results, revenue at 3.17 billion euros, up 4.2% year over year.
Reporting third quarter sales up 4.8%. Franklin Golf Romeo.
And Fed policy will be driven by the pace of the data. Same policy will remain accommodative.
Futures off, concessions low, still down about 1% on the day for a little more than 4 pennies.
All right, let's talk about this GPRO. Let's use a level from yesterday, and then let's use a level from today and talk about a momentum trade. This is a momentum trade right now. This is not about whether or not GPRO is worth north of $4 billion. This is about whether or not there are aggressive buyers willing to continue to buy and push the stock higher. All right, so this is an IPO, came out yesterday. It was a hot IPO, we talked about it. It did very well yesterday, but it put in some levels. And those levels we ought to use today. When a stock is really young, like GPRO, those levels work really, really well. Those technical levels work really well. So we had some from yesterday, right? Our 32 was certainly a technical level to think about. You probably heard some chatter on the desk. If GPRO gets above 32, I'm going to get long and see if this stock will go up. What was the high from yesterday? 33. Okay, so we've got 32 as a level from the afternoon, and we've got 33 as a level. That was sort of the high from yesterday. Those levels are going to be interesting. All right, and so let's take a look at the intraday chart from today. And let's type up the intraday chart from today. And so we opened up, there was actually a buy and balance right on the open, and the stock spiked up towards 33 bucks. GPRO spiked up towards 33 bucks. And then there was a lot of volume done at 33. Sometimes we call it an above-below program, but there was a big fight at 33 bucks. So we've got this level from yesterday. It was sort of the high from yesterday. So it's a technical resistance level until it gets it above it. And then intraday, we've got this big fight at 33 bucks. And if it gets above that 33 bucks, what are you thinking? It can go higher. And not only can it go higher, you want to understand this is in the wheelhouse for big momentum traders. This is something they like to push up. And the game is, let's just buy, prop it up, and then hope that we can hit it higher than we bought it. And a lot of times they can't, particularly if they push it up high enough. Okay? So this is not about, the guys necessarily buying today are not necessarily saying, I think this stock in 6 months is worth $35. It's just a trade. And it's just a trading style that you got to be aware about. So, you don't want to be sitting there. So it was very clear, the setup. The stock hadn't really traded above 33.10 if you're watching the tape really closely. That was the line in the sand for the intraday momentum to clearly be up. It was below 33 bucks. It went down to maybe 80 cents a couple of times. It dropped out once, a little bit further than that, but most of the volume was being done at 33, and it really hadn't traded above 33.10. When it gets above 33.10, now it's above yesterday's technical resistance level. Now it's above today's intraday resistance level. Now it's above a price that we've noticed from the tape and from that price action on the open, and it now fits into a category of potentially being a momentum play. And so that's a trade in of itself. Things that are hot work better. It's a Friday on a summer. There's not a lot of stuff people are necessarily interested in getting long. This is something that will come up on the radar of certain desks. Okay? And so above that 33.10, if you're going to buy it, you sort of have to sit back and relax. If you're going to buy 33.11, you want to understand this could really go up. Okay? And so in my head, I just sort of think about some prices. I'm thinking 10% is 36. I'm thinking 5 points is 38. It did not occur to me right away it could get to 40. But it doesn't matter. It's like, you got to be careful about putting false ceilings on stocks like this. It's just a pattern, and they can push this thing until they're done. And the way that the stock looks done is it can be very parabolic. You'll see an increase in price and an increase in volume. It'll just be very different. And you actually saw that into that first leg above 39. The desk started to short it a little bit there, and it pulled into 37. That was parabolic. It was different. That whole move from above 36 all the way up to that 39, 25-ish area, 30-ish area, that was much steeper than the entire rest of that move. And you heard some of the guys put it out and cover it into that down move. But what happened at 37? They bought a lot. I mean, there was another battle there at 37. And that was the price right there that if it had gotten below 36.75-ish, you might have piled in and played for a reversal trade, maybe back into whatever you thought it would go to. But if not, you got to be thinking this thing could go find its highs again. All right? And so these don't happen in all the IPO trades, but they can happen. They can happen. All right, any questions about this trade? Anyone actually give it a shot?
Yeah, when you said at 33.10, it's area to buy, like it's a, what do you say, a line in the sand, and you buy at 33.10.
Yeah.
Where would you put your stop in then?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So let's bring up the chart. So I actually think there's two ways to trade this above 33.10. I think if you're a hyperactive scalper, you can buy 33.11 and play the very, very short-term momentum. So it goes up and it slows, take it off. It doesn't go down, buy it back. It goes up, it slows, take it off. Okay, so you can hyper scalp it, you can micro scalp it. That's very hard to do in something like this. And I think that since we had such an important price above that 33.10 from watching it so closely, there was a lot of volume done around 33. It really didn't trade above that price. After a certain period of time, it got pretty tight. That was a very good, I'm not saying that if you bought 33.11, that the only thing could happen would be that it would go up to $40. What I'm saying is you have an edge there. You have a little bit of an edge there as a trader. You've got a good risk reward. Your edge is you're probably going to be right more than you're wrong, and your risk reward is pretty solid. So that's good. That's what we're looking for, right? We're not saying this is a 100% chance that the stock is going to go up 7 points. We're saying, now you're above 50%, and your upside is, I think, reasonably from this. I think 10% from that price is reasonable. And your downside would be, let's look at the chart. The downside is really the bottom of the consolidation at that 33. So you look at the consolidation area. How low did it get down to when it was doing that fight above and below 33? And you want to set it below the bottom of that consolidation. Good question. So in this case, a little bit below that 75-cent area. So not too bad, right? You have about, in this case, you have about 30 cents of risk, and you've got at least 3 points up. That's pretty good, right? 1 to 10?
Yeah, very good.
That's good. Okay. All right, so we'll talk some more about IPOs going forward, but they can be fun. Technical levels put in from day one are much, much more prevalent and important than a lot of the technical levels that we talk about. Okay? Good example of how this was a really significant one. Okay, thanks. Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, author of The Playbook and One Good Trade, co-founder of SMBU and SMB Capital here in New York City. If you want to learn more about SMB, please go check out smbu.com. Check out our blog where we share tons of trading tips, trading stories, trades we're in, trading anecdotes, and also take the time to sign up for our 10-day free training program, which we offer to the trading community at smbu.com. We hope you enjoy it. We hope to see you on the site. Trade well.